So we're going to jump straight into MTV Awards for Knucklemania 3, which is just taking place there back in February 17th, which Hunt and Richman headlined. Start off first fight of the night with Derek Perez, Anthony Sanchez. This was just a trade-off fight. They stood there, banged it off. There was a bit of animosity between these two. They'd met each other in MMA earlier last year. Sanchez started off the better of the two. Derek Perez pulled it back, and after 5 rounds of trading it off, got his hand raised in the end. So well done, Derek Perez. Straight on to Lordy Navarro and Nick Gonzalez. Nick Gonzalez had said he didn't think Navarro would fare well with his bare knuckle before going into this, and he was absolutely right. Navarro took one straight down the pipe in the first, within the first 15-20 seconds. He went down, got up, and then he took one which looks like it shot his nose out as well. So he was unable to continue. This was over within the first minute of the first round. Well done, Nick Gonzalez. Swiftly on to Jean Perez and Eric Dodson. Now, I don't know if Perez was a stand-in in this, but this just looks like very bad matchmaking. Jean Perez, very experienced, but he just looked out of his depth here. I don't know if it was a stand-in. I thought when it was taking place, I thought it must be a stand-in because this wouldn't have been a natural matchup. Either way, Perez didn't get through the first. Eric Dodson walked pretty much straight through him. So well done, Eric Dodson. And on to Christian Torres and Joshua Moreno. Now Torres is standing at 2-2, I think, and Moreno 1-0. But from this, you would have thought that Moreno was the far more experienced fighter. Torres, his defense was really lacking, and Moreno just really made quite easy work of him. This was over after the first minute of the second round. So congratulations, Joshua Moreno. So Gaston Reyno, Daniel Van Sickle, lightweight matchup. This one didn't get past the first round either. Van Sickle seemed to be having a bit of trouble with his range. Reyno just completely capitalized on that. Took his time, waited, hung fire, and caught him with a nice counter, causing the stoppage in the first round. Well done, Gaston Reyno. And on to Noah Cutter v Will Santiago. Well, Will Santiago, for me, up to this point here, he was having the performance of the night. He disposed of Noah Cutter within the first, as the doctor had to stop it due to a nasty slice between Cutter's lip and his nose. So well done, Will Santiago. Great performance. And so we're on to my first award for the Knucklemania 3, and this belongs in the Hinshaw-Sigala fight. If you hadn't been aware of what had happened throughout this fight, then you have been sleeping. Basically, Sigala, she rolled on her right ankle at the very start of the first, about 25 seconds in. And she was tagged a little bit from Henshaw going down, a little scuff across the chin, but nothing that changed anything. Certainly wasn't the cause for her going down. As you can see there, her foot is pointing the complete wrong direction. She resets it herself and then notifies the referee that her foot or her leg's broken and she can't continue because of that. I did have a chat with Sigala Monday or Tuesday, and I told her how I thought the reaction, the celebrations from Henshaw considering what had just happened, were absolutely bizarre. And I also thought the commentary was equally as bizarre. Firstly, I mean, for me, if you see your opponent, if you're in a stand-up fight and you see your opponent is out of it because of a broken leg, then you just don't celebrate anyway. But I know some fighters do. You take the win, but the celebrations are muted somewhat. But there is the possibility that I'll give Jamie Henshaw the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that the leg was broken, but obviously she could see that she wasn't knocked out. This wasn't a knockout. And the commentary staff, the commentary team, they were talking as if Jamie Henshaw had knocked out Sigala, as if she was down through a strike from Jamie Henshaw. And I just thought the whole thing was absolutely bizarre. I thought Jamie Henshaw reacted as if she'd just knocked out Sigala, and I thought the commentary team, they noticed they mentioned the break. They said they thought her leg was broken, but then went on to talk about how fantastic Jamie was striking. I just thought it was a little bit bizarre that they weren't really. They said her leg was broken, but they weren't really mentioning that was why the fight was over. So the first award goes out to Jamie Hinshaw and the BKFC commentary team, and that is the MTV's WTF award. Congratulations.
Our referee in charge, Dave Rios, steps in and calls a stop to this fight at 38 seconds into round number 1. For your winner by KO and still undefeated, Jamie Adam Bomb Hinshaw.
And Shaw, with that speed and with that accuracy, Hinshaw just moves herself up as far as being a dominant force in this weight class.
And on to Greg Hardy Jr. and Josh Watson. They'd done their best for Greg Hardy Jr. to get him through this by giving him Josh Watson with a considerable disadvantage in length, but it still wasn't enough. I had a look at Greg Hardy Jr. in his MMA, see what he was going to transition like. Didn't think he was going to transition well to bare knuckle. I didn't think he'd like it. If you're going to leave them gaps and stay that open, you need to be able to eat those bare knuckles, of which he couldn't. Josh Watson finished him at the start of the second. So move on to John Dodson, Jared Grant at flyweight. A lot of expectations coming out of this one. Unfortunately, it didn't play along. This was another one that didn't get out of the first round. Jared Grant, his game plan was all wrong in this. You kind of let little John Dodson get off like he was. He's too explosive. He's going to catch you eventually if you just sit back waiting for him to make his move, which is exactly what Jared Grant did. He got caught at the end of the first, went down. He went down very strange, really, which you question at first, and then he got up and then he took a knee and couldn't continue. So congratulations, John Dodson. And we have Austin Trout, Diego Sanchez. This was a great build-up, wasn't it? Sanchez really putting it on Trout. Unfortunately, once they got in there, Sanchez looked a little bit tired. Very, very tough man. Took it 4 rounds, and he really, Austin Trout didn't really get out of second gear in this, if that. And by the 4th, Austin Trout was advising Diego Sanchez's corner that he thought he'd had enough, and in the end, the doctor agreed and pulled Sanchez out. Congratulations, Austin Trout. And so we're on to the final fight of the night, the headliner, between Lorenzo Hunt and Mike Richman, and we still got two awards to give away. So they are both going into this one. Performance of the night and fight of the night. Yes, this has been very much anticipated for a while now. A lot of beef between these two, a lot of animosity at some points, but it's all come to a head now. I thought the entrance from Lorenzo Hunt was fantastic. I thought it was great. I saw this and I was in stitches. I thought it was Lorenzo Hunt inside the suit at first, just because his expressions really was mimicking what Lorenzo does naturally. But I thought this was a really good entrance. One thing, Lorenzo Hunt, he's a bit of a Marmite character. Most people either love him or hate him. But no matter what you feel about him, he's a great entertainer. He really is. He looks good. He's very outspoken. He says some dumb stuff. He could probably do with a little bit of tutoring on sound bites. But yeah, in general, I can understand why BKFC are pushing Lorenzo Hunt to the forefront of kind of the poster boy for BKFC. He is extremely entertaining, and he's a good champion. That me and him have had a little bit of a back and forth. He didn't like my video when I delegitimized his 185 title, which I think, I still stand by. You need to be weighing in at the title that you're competing for. You can't weigh in 10 pounds heavier than the title that you are attempting to take. But that's beside the side now, because Mike Richman has confirmed Lorenzo Hunt did actually weigh in at 185 on the dot for this one, and so he's very happy, so I'm very happy. And yeah, it was quite a fight, wasn't it, for as long as it lasted. I did expect it to go a little bit longer. I had said the best way for Mike to get through Lorenzo was going to be early on. Lorenzo, the longer the fight goes on, the better Lorenzo becomes, and you know, this is practically what happened. Unfortunately for Mike, you know, he made such a good job of it that he become a little bit blasé, and forgot his fundamentals, made a schoolboy error, and that cost him his title shot, which must have been absolutely heartbreaking for him. I know it was for many people around the world watching. They were all shocked more than anything. He had it all down. He was all but there. Lorenzo was out. Lorenzo couldn't do anything with Mike Richman. And then he walked across. And he could have finished Lorenzo off from outside, but he didn't. He went and he stepped inside, and Lorenzo swung and just completely took Mike Richman out, which is a schoolboy error on Mike's behalf. He'll be the first to admit that a loss is a loss, but there's no getting away from the fact that on this night Lorenzo Hunt was well and truly humbled, and we did see you know, who indeed holds the superior skills within 185 as far as I'm concerned. And that's why for me, you know, the Mitsup TV MTV performance of the night goes to Mike Richman. You can't take that away from him, even though he did have that error in the end, which cost him everything. And the fight of the night goes to this competition between the two of them, between Lorenzo Hunt and Mike Richman. So congratulations, Mike Richman, and congratulations, Lorenzo Hunt. Now, for anybody out there who doesn't think that that Mike Richman did whoop Lorenzo's ass, well, even Lorenzo knows he did.
Great job, champ. Great job, champ. I need the champ, man. Respect, man. Respect, y'all. Respect.
Good job. Good job. That's the worst ass whooping I ever had. That's the worst ass whooping I ever had. That's the worst ass whooping I ever had.
Thank you, man. I needed that too. Thank you, champ.